What's going on, folks? So, I had a fella from the band Time Decay reach out to me and ask if I would check out one of his songs from his solo work, his like solo project and all that stuff. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know you had one, and so absolutely, I said, of course. And the name of his solo project is Everglade. And I mean, that just hits home. Being born and raised in South Florida, close to the Everglades, I can't help but think of the Everglades with that. So it really hits home for me. But yeah, and he said to take my pick of whichever song to react to. So I had to choose Hail to the King. Being a big Army of Darkness fan, couldn't help myself. Yeah, I'm really curious to check this out. So without further ado, let's get on with it, shall we? Rangers, go. that was awesome. That was just awesome. Oh, wow. I mean, like musically, like this song was just awesome. And the first thing I have to say is, I mean, I enjoy like instrumental music, but I never just kind of just listen to instrumental music. Part of me always just I start thinking of like this needs vocals. Like where's the vocals? Especially a song like this, because it's like very song like. Some instrumental stuff, it's just constantly changing and moving, and it's just kind of its own thing where vocals wouldn't necessarily fit. But this song right here, to me, is just a brilliantly done song that is just begging for vocals. So I couldn't help but just be like, man, you get like some vocals on here, and this song will just be an absolute banger. Because musically, this song rocks. Like the songwriting for this here, even disregarding the killer performance, but just the songwriting itself, this song rocks. I mean, it's just awesome. So yeah, really, really impressive. I mean, I just really, really enjoyed it. And I guess it's kind of a cool thing too, because, it's like when you're reading a book versus like watching a movie, you're watching a movie or a show and you see everything that's happening. You see the characters, you see all of that. But like when you're reading a book, sure, it's being like described to you, but you get to kind of imagine in your mind, you get your own image of what all this stuff looks like, what the characters look like, what they're doing. It kind of plays out in your head, your own version of it, and it'll differ from like someone else. Whereas a movie, you see it like that's what it is. So this kind of reminds me of that, like reading a book almost, because the listener, it's like while I was listening to it, I kind of envisioned sort of like some vocals happening. I kind of partly heard something. It's like the listener gets to kind of put in what they want, in their mind or what they envision, as opposed to like there just being vocals there and that's what you hear. That's what it is. So, it's kind of cool from that regard. But yeah, I mean, just the song itself, though, it's just killer. I love the build up in the beginning. And when the drums start kicking in, and then the rhythm guitar like really starts strumming like a real speedy kind of riff, and the lead guitar is kind of teasing some interesting things happening as the guitar builds up. And then when it just hits you with a wallop, and then everything just goes, and it's so cool. And that was really, though, the first moment, like, if anything in this song, like, that like, as soon as that happens, like, when it goes boom and everything just fires off, you really need just like a, like, thing, like, happening, like, just to kick it off. I mean, that's exactly what like I heard in my head. I was like, oh, dude, like, that it just needs like a power metal scream, like right there. It just epic, But anywho, I'll stop talking about like vocals stuff. But yeah, so it rockets off, and it's just so cool. I love the strumming rhythms of the guitar, and then the lead like doing like really cool stuff, and I love that dynamic between the rhythm and the lead, like all the way through the song, the guitar all the way through the song. It's just really, really cool. And yeah, it's like you can almost hear it's like verses and chorus and all that. It has like a very song-like structure. And that's why I said I'd stop talking about vocals, but that's why I mentioned it's like I could really hear vocals on this one, because sometimes instrumentals don't really follow that format per se, so it's like more difficult. But to just vocals would be kind of weird because it's just kind of all over the place. But here it has a very song-like structure, which I thought was cool. Like, and I was just on board with it all the way through. So you kind of have like verses moments, you kind of have chorus moments. Things like that. But yeah, just really great riffs, really great lead guitar, and then I love the whole, what I kind of consider like the bridge area, was really neat, like with the guitar melody, and it kind of starts off, it again kind of like builds to an extent. It kind of starts off with the really cool lead kind of melody, and then it builds onto that, and the sound just grows larger and larger, and then that kicks off like really kind of like proper like solo section, and then like it starts ripping again there towards the end and just really building up. It's just really, really cool. Really, really, really cool. I mean, I just really enjoyed this a lot. The drum work was really great as well. It sounded like there's like some symphonic stuff in there in spots. And yeah, I mean, just a brilliantly written song and brilliantly performed. Like super, super talented fella here. Yeah, just really, really cool. I don't know what else to say. Just a really, really well written song. So I'm gonna have to check out some of his other solo stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's just some killer like power metal instrumentals, with great songwriting and great performance. So I mean, I don't know what else to say. So I guess that's all I will say. But anywho, yeah, thank you so much, to the fella for reaching out and telling me about this solo project. This was a real blast to listen to. And let me know, folks, in the comments down below, what do you think of this tune here? What do you think of it? Let's talk about it. And I'll catch you next time, Ranger. Out.